There we go. So just want to welcome today David Holmes, who is the founder and I'm guessing artistic director
The
of,
artistic director, executive director, set designer, pretty much everything.
yes, of the Mankato Playhouse, which came to Mankato in 2019 and has been putting on musical theater productions down at what was called the Event Center down at the Mankato Place Mall. And here to talk a little bit about the history of the theater company and of course the current and future plans as we come out of the COVID-19, hopefully coming out of it, epidemic and pandemic, and how he sees the future shaking out. So David, thank you very much for being here today.
Yeah, no problem at all. Thanks for having me. We're really excited about getting ready to go into our second season of Mankato Playhouse. So how we got started is my wife and I have been theater enthusiasts for pretty much our entire life. I've been in theater for over 25 years. She's been in theater for probably around that same time. We moved out here from California 6 years ago, and we were very involved in the theater out in California. My wife is a dance instructor at Mankato Ballet. She has a history of being a choreographer. She's a seasoned choreographer. She's choreographed many shows. We met doing a show back in 2001. We met doing West Side Story. And ever since then, we kind of haven't been apart. And so theater has always really been a part of our life. And when we had kids, it's just a part of the kids' life too. So we are a family of theater enthusiasts. Well, when we moved out here, we saw there was a need for more theater. I mean, every city needs more theater. You can never go wrong with more theater. Out in California, there's a theater on every single corner. Here, we're very limited on the theater that's here. We have great theater groups, but there's a long period of time where there's nothing happening. So we would drive down to Fairmont, do things in Fairmont Opera House. We drive up to New Prague, do things with Curtain Call Theater, drive out to New Ulm to go do things at State Street Theater out there. And so we just really saw a need for more theater in Mankato. And we've always, for years, we've talked about opening up a theater company. However, out in California, where there are a dime a dozen, that wasn't the best situation. Coming out here where there is not many theater companies, we thought this would be a good opportunity for us to pursue our dream, open up a theater, and bring Mankato something that they didn't have. We originally started out by, we knew we were only going to do musicals. We're a musical family. We love musicals. Lend Me a Tenor is a great show. You mentioned Lend Me a Tenor. It's one of the shows I would really love to be a part of. But we wanted to take our focus into doing just musical theater and doing Broadway show musical theater. So your big name shows, your Chicago, your Funny Thing Happened with the Forum, Chorus Line, things like that. We want to bring that to the community. So when we were looking for spaces, we walked into the Mankato Event Center. I contacted Gordon, awesome. And I asked him, I said, we're looking for a theater. We need a space. Do you have something available? He said, yes, we could work with you. And he didn't let me go until I came down. And we walked into the theater and immediately we looked at it and said, this is dinner theater. This isn't general seating. This is dinner theater setting. And out in California, I was a part of a theater group, a Garbo's Dinner Theater. And when we walked into the space, it reminded us of Garbo's Dinner Theater. Much smaller than Garbo's Dinner Theater, but it was dinner theater. And we go up to the cities quite often to go see Chanhassen, and we love Chanhassen. But we have to drive an hour. Everyone we talk to drives to Chanhassen. They love going to Chanhassen. So we're thinking, you know what, let's open up a dinner theater. Let's bring a dinner theater to Mankato so people have another option besides having to drive up to the cities. They could do it right here in their own backyard. So that's kind of how we came about. We put a board of directors together. We have a fantastic board of directors. We're actually going into a second season. We have a new set of great minds coming in for our second season. Our board of directors are typically one season. That way we can kind of keep new ideas coming in. If a board of director wants to stay on, they can stay on. So there's unlimited terms for our board of directors. They just want to, after the season, if they want to continue, they could continue. So we have a great group of people coming in to be our board of director for the 2020-2021 season. We have an awesome season that we've just launched. We started out with Jesus Christ Superstar, which is a completely ridiculously hard show to put on. And when I was talking with our board president, Matthew Atwood, we were kind of debating. We're like, you know what? Forever Plaid was actually supposed to be our first show that we were supposed to open with. However, when Nearly Players announced their season and they realized that we were going to be doing a month apart the same exact show, Matt and I sat down and said, okay, what are we going to do? We could still do Forever Plaid to close out our season, but it'll be a month after Merely Players does theirs, and having two shows in the same community isn't good because people aren't going to come see both shows a month after each other. So we just decided we were going to open up and flip-flop Forever Plaid and Jesus Christ Superstar to open up with Jesus Christ Superstar. So that way there's enough time in between. We open September, they open in March. We're going to have the different crowds are going to come see the show. And we were lucky enough to have Matthew Atwood be able to play Jesus because, again, it is a tough show vocally to put on. Did completely different things with it. I directed it and went complete modern. So instead of your traditional robes for everybody, we went 80s, 90s rock. So everybody was kind of more modern. Our set was the outside of an abandoned building, and everything. Our priests were in kind of your Matrix. So have black, and they had sunglasses, and I mean, it's just, we turned the story, the setting of the story completely different, but the passion and the story didn't change. Like, we kept everything the way it was supposed to be. We did a lot of character studies. Every apostle had a name. They researched their name. Like, we just completely just went all out with opening up. And we opened up with Jesus Christ Superstar. We had a couple sellout performances for our very first show. And that was kind of just set the foundation. We then do a Christmas show every single year. Every year we're going to do a Christmas show. We did Miracle on 34th Street, a live radio musical show last year. And again, 100% successful. We had a couple sellout performances for that one as well. Miracle on 34th Street, everyone loves Miracle on 34th Street, and everybody wants to do something for Christmas. So we had a lot of families come in. We actually had a couple groups come in from outside. We had Owatonna Women's Club come in. They bussed some people in, so we had a couple special performances for that. Then we opened up I Love You, You're Perfect Now Change, which is one of my favorite shows. I've done the show twice before, and I knew when we opened up the Zena Theater, we were going to be doing I Love You, You're Perfect Now Change. It's one of my favorite shows. And then I was actually in the show. I directed the show, and we went to go cast the show, and I was missing one more guy. I needed one guy. There's a 4-person cast, and the four people have to really be able to connect. They all have to be around the same age. We had someone who's phenomenal. He auditioned. He's 19 years old, but having some of the content within the show and a 19-year-old play, it just didn't work. So it just came that I ended up being in the show because I needed one more person. And sorry, the kids are home. And that was a really fun show. One of my favorite shows. And then we were going to do Forever Plaid. And of course, the whole COVID hit, and we weren't able to do Forever Plaid. So we are now pushing Forever Plaid out. We're going to open Forever Plaid, push it into our next season, kind of in between seasons. Forever Plaid is going to be July 31st through August 16th. We're opening up Forever Plaid. Then on the flip side, we actually, besides our dinner theater, we also are doing Broadway teens. We also saw a need in the community for more in the 6th to 12th grade range. there's a lot of things in this community for kids who like sports. I mean, you can go play tennis, you could be on soccer teams, you could be on baseball teams, but not everybody likes sports. I knew growing up, I played sports, I like for fun, but I never wanted to be part of a sports team. I was always into theater. And so having that outlet here and a place for the kids to be able to go do what they love to do if they're not into sports, we saw a huge need for that. We have a son who absolutely loves theater, and there's very few opportunities for him to go be part of different shows that are kid-based, that are going to teach the kids how to be successful in in what they want to do in their performing arts. When we auditioned Jesus Christ Superstar, one of the things we actually noticed is there was a lot of kids that were coming to us who auditioned who didn't know how to audition. And so we saw a need there that, like, if these kids want to get to the next level in their career and that's what they want to do, we want to help them. So we created our Broadway teen workshops where we do 6th to 12th grade kids. Is audition, so they have to come prepared for an audition, which we do for every single one of our performances. You have to come prepared with an audition piece. The reason we do that, kind of off track, is because we want the person to come and be comfortable with what they're singing and really show us what they got, versus us trying to teach them a song and, all right, you're going to sing through it twice. Okay, now show us what you got. And we're not really getting the best of the best. But if we let the people who come and audition come prepared with the song, we provide the pianist for them. So they just have to bring sheet music, and it teaches us, can they follow a pianist? And what do they really sound like when they are confident in what they're singing? So for our Broadway teens, we have our kids do that. Very successful so far. We've done 2 Broadway teen shows. We were scheduled to do a 3rd one, but had to postpone that due to COVID to close out our 2020-2021 season. We've had about 30 kids come through our doors so far. And we started out with Guys and Dolls, and then we moved on and we did Once on This Island Junior. And then Thoroughly Modern Millie was supposed to be our 3rd show to close out our 2019-2020 season.
Hey, David, I'll give you a chance to take a breath here. Just wondering, I know from my time at MSU that musicals are not inexpensive to even get the rights to, and yep, they demand, in order for you to reserve a time slot, that you pay up front. And I'm wondering what kind of business approach you took to that, because you needed that money before you could ever put on a show.
Yeah, so great question. So we knew we needed to secure the rights. And yeah, the royalties are not cheap. It's anywhere between $3,000 and $5,000 just to get the royalties for a show. And it all depends on how many people you project are going to come see the show, how many ticket sales, and how many seats you could sell, and how many performances you're going to have. So they do a calculation to determine how much it is. So we knew we needed about $16,000 just for the royalties for the first season, and that was all 7 shows. The good thing is with a lot of the royalties companies is you could put a deposit down, and so you can just pay the deposit, but you don't get any materials until you pay it up. So we actually took out a business loan, to purchase the royalties for Jesus Christ Superstar and Guys and Dolls, which was our first shows that we did right out. And the ticket sales we made for Jesus Christ Superstar was able to help us purchase the royalties and finish the royalties for Miracle on 34th Street, and so on and so on. So we've actually been kind of paying once we get the money, but we did take out an initial loan that we are paying off. Because of COVID, we actually were able to get our loan extended out for another complete year. So we're still working on paying off the business loan. We're doing everything we can to get businesses to sponsor. We do have Atwood Realty sponsoring Forever Plaid. We have Mankato Sings. They're sponsoring Descendants. So we have a couple businesses that are sponsoring, and their work or their logo is all over any of our posters. And I mean, there are a lot of benefits which show sponsorship. But yeah, personal donations, sponsorships, also program advertisements. So that's helping us being able to keep afloat and to continue paying off the loan.
Thank you. don't know if you wanted to talk about the whole process of putting together a show, or what
Yeah,
your
sure.
next, or
So
what you want to talk about.
sure. So for putting on a show, it's a lot of work. A lot of people come see a show, they see the final product, but they don't really understand what exactly it takes to put on a show. So the first thing you have to do is you have to figure out the dates that you want to put on the show. Then you have to go to the royalties company and you have to request those dates, and it could either be approved or it could be denied. If it's denied, it's either there's a couple of reasons. A big production like a Broadway tour is going to be coming through at a specific time, and so they within a specific radius. So if something comes through within the cities, we may be on the inside of that radius that no one can produce that show, or because we're hour and 20 minutes away. It just all depends on if the Broadway tour says, okay, no one's doing it within 100 miles or no one's doing it within 50 miles. And if that's not the case, then we can get approved for the royalty. Then you have to pay the royalty in order to secure everything and get all the materials. But then you have to find a production team. So I've directed 4 out of the 6 shows we've done this season. Oh, no, 4 out of the, I don't know, I've directed most of them. Except the Forever Plaid, the one we're doing right now, is actually directed by someone else, and it's the first one that I've completely stepped away from. Our first Broadway team was directed by Jim Hatlilly, but I pretty much sat back and helped guide them through because we were setting the foundation of what we're doing with this program. Then you got to get a costumer, and because we don't have a costume shop, we are out shopping and purchasing everything right now, which again cost a lot of money to purchase everything. But secondhand stores, Dollar Tree is we should actually have stock in Dollar Tree because we go there quite often for supplies and make a lot of stuff. Props, we don't have props, so have to make all the props and cast the show. You got to cast the show, and we are trying to bring professional quality theater to Mankato. So not everyone who auditions will actually get cast in the show, and not that they're not going to get cast in future shows. It's just that we make sure that we have the right cast to put on the quality of shows that we that our mission to fulfill our mission. And so a lot of people, we haven't had too many people audition, and I think that's because we've had such good cast. And actually one of our someone came to our board president and he's like, well, you do theater, how come you haven't auditioned? And they were under the impression that we were hiring actors to come down and do shows with us because of the quality of shows that we had been putting on. Like, no, this is all local talent. Like, we have such a strong talent pool within Mankato. And so that's where we want to reach out to, is those people who have the talent. Maybe they're not doing anything right now, but they want to do something, or they're looking to do something a little bit more on the professional side, but still community theater. Those are the people that we want to reach out to. I know as an actor, I've been acting for 25 years. If there's a theater that does more professional quality stuff versus someone who just puts on a show, I will pick the person that does a high quality stuff, because I'm pretty picky with what I do. I've been doing theater for 25 years, so I can be picky on the roles that I take, on the places that I go. And so we want to be that outlet that those people who was like, well, I used to do something, but I kind of want something a little bit more professional, come do a show with Mankato Playhouse, and everything we do down to costuming, props, everything, we try to make it as professional as we possibly can, but still create a fun environment. Once you come to a show with Mankato, you become part of our Playhouse family. We have repeats that keep coming back. Two of our actors were in 3 of the 4 shows, and we have one of the people he was in 2. He's actually, this is his 3rd show too. So we have 3 people who's been in 3 of our shows, and so they absolutely love it. And so we just try to create that fun environment, but keep it professional and put on a show that people are going to be proud of.
Sue, have you had anything that you'd like to ask? You're muted now, but I hope Sue is still there. There she is. Any questions, Sue? Hope she's back.
You got me?
Yes, there you are.
Okay. Am I on now?
Yep,
Can
yes,
you
you
hear me?
are.
Okay.
Yes.
Had the mute off. What do I want to ask? I think I'll wait and ask at the end.
Okay. So going into next season, I could talk about what we're going to be doing next season.
Sure.
Like I say, we're kind of our in-between show is going to be Forever Plaid. We open July 31st to August 16th. Tickets for that show is going to go on sale Monday. We had to change things up because we would just sell tickets and then we would assign seating. Because we are now in a culture where we can't just seat anybody next to each other, we've had to rearrange our whole structure with selling tickets. So now we're selling tables versus tickets. We've reduced down to 2 top tables, 3 top tables, 4 top tables, and 6 top tables, and set those tables at a certain price. That price includes your dinner, or the meal of your choice. The meal options are salmon, beef tenderloin, chicken Gouda, and a vegetarian stuffed bell pepper, which is gluten-free. 4 dinner options. All the dinners include salad, bread, and include dessert. So you don't have to pay extra for dessert. And we have a full bar available for our guests. So at the table price, whether you get a 4 top table and only 3 of you come, or you get a 4 top table and 4 of you come, it's the exact same price. So we always recommend make sure you fill all the seats so you're not spending more than you should. Forever Plaid is going to be the first one. Then in October, we're going to be opening up The Addams Family. And then for our Christmas show, we're going to be doing Scrooge, the musical. February, we are going to be doing The Last 5 Years, and that's going to be our Valentine's Day production. And then for Mother's Day, for opening the end of April, running through mid-May, we're going to be finishing up our dinner theater season with A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum. All those are amazing shows. We have to be very conscious of the shows that we do at our theater, because if you've ever been into the Mankato Event Center, the stage is 20 feet by 20 feet depth, 40 feet wide, with just a brick wall, no backstage. So we have to kind of think about what is a set going to look like before we actually pick the show. So all those productions, we already have a set design in mind, and that's going to be our dinner theater season. And for the kids, we were actually able to secure our opening show, which is, the kids are going to be so excited about this one because it's a hit right now. We're going to do Disney's Descendants, which is, it's ginormous. If you don't know about Descendants, it's basically the descendants of all the evil people and actually all the fairy tales. So you have like Snow White's daughter, you have the Beast and Belle's daughter. So it's the descendants of them. And there's 3 Disney original movies on the Descendants, and it's huge. As soon as we announced that we're doing the Descendants, I had parents reach out to me, not the kids weren't reaching out, but the parents were reaching out saying, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. So it's a show that parents love because they're probably forced to watch it over and over and over again on the Disney Channel, or they're excited because their kids are going to be excited about being in it. So that's what we're opening up with our Broadway Teens, which is doing, September is the auditions, and November is when that show runs. Broadway Teens, we only do 1 weekend, so we only do 3 performances. It's 6-week workshop followed by 3 performances. Then we're doing Children of Eden Jr. That's going to be our March show. And we are finishing up our season with Thoroughly Modern Millie, which we had to push from our 2019-2020 out to our 2020-2021 season.
Okay. Now, you and I have talked a little bit about the last 5 years, but I wonder if you want to just tell Sue about that. And then also, what was the last one that you said?
If anything happened on one of the forum?
No, I'll think about that one. It was
Sure.
one that was lesser known, but last 5 years has got a great Valentine's Day tie-in. So hopefully, even if people don't know the show, but it's an incredible production.
Yeah, it is. It's amazingly written. Like the show, it's brilliant. It only has 2 people in the cast. It has Jamie, who's the guy, and Kathy, who's the girl, and it spans over a 5-year relationship. The cool thing about this show is Jamie's story starts at the beginning of the relationship. Kathy's story starts at the end of the relationship. So the first, it's a breakup. So it's a nice Valentine's love story that they end up breaking up. But Jamie starts out, he meets this girl and he's like excited about this girl. And he's like sings a song about like this amazing person. And Kathy's song starts out, she's still hurting because the relationship is over. At the middle of the show, they get together, and it's the only time that they're actually on stage together is the middle of the show when they get married. And then they drift apart again, and you finish his story to the end, you finish her story to the beginning. So it's an incredibly written show. We are looking at pre-casting the show. We have some people that are in mind for pre-casting the show because you need a couple of really strong people, strong actors, strong singers, because it's two people carrying the entire show, which might sound easy, but when you're singing 23 songs a piece, it's challenging. And the music, it's created by Jason Robert Brown. If you've never heard any of Jason Robert Brown's music, it is tough. It's some of the toughest music out there, but it's the most beautiful music that you could hear. So that's a little bit about last 5 years.
Yeah, and it's so emotional.
Did you remember the other one?
No, I don't. But it's so emotionally packed too. The music is, you're not just singing a ballad or something. You are singing about a heartbreak essentially.
You are, and you're hearing his heartbreak at the end of the show, and just the emotions that both of these actors go through is just, it's, as an actor, it is a very tough part to not just sing, but to actually be able to do successfully. I saw the show back out in California. One of my buddies directed it and he was in it. And the way he did it, I know we talked about how they did it on Broadway and they had the rotating stage. Mm-hmm. Their only set piece was a bench in the middle of an empty stage. And the acting that they did, you didn't need a set because the emotions that they brought, like you understood every single song and every emotion that they went through, and all they had on stage was a bench on a black stage.
And the lyrics are very descriptive too. So you're going through her summers in Ohio, and you're going to meetings with him about his book and other things. So it's very descriptive.
Yep. Yeah, you wouldn't miss. You just listen to the lyrics. If you listen to the soundtrack, you know everything that's going on. So you don't even have to see the show to actually know the storyline.
Well, let's see. What else do you want to talk about, David?
We're
you're starting now. You're doing something different with tickets. I know this year you were going to be selling blocks of tickets or a bunch of tickets rather than for each show.
Yeah, so with the whole COVID and the new way of changing things, we kind of have to put a hold on selling flex tickets and season tickets. But once we open back up and we can sell just seats instead of selling tables, which hopefully we can get to within sometime this season, we are doing flex tickets. Now what the flex tickets are is not your normal season ticket where you purchase one ticket per show. You purchase a block of tickets that you could use for one show, or you could purchase or could use them for multiple shows. So we have 5-pack tickets available, which gives you a discount, and then we have 10-pack tickets available, which gives you even more of a discount. I think it's 8% discount on 5 tickets, 10% discount on 10 tickets. So you save the money. So if you want to say, all right, I'm bringing 10 people, let's purchase the 10-pack, you could use all 10 of those tickets on one show. Or if you want to come back and see it 10 times yourself, which you might, we only do 9 shows, so you still leave one hanging. But you have the ability, so it's just completely flexible to how you want to use it. Or if there's a show that, like, all right, I'm not really into last 5 years, doesn't sound fun, but the other 3 shows sound awesome. Use all 10 for 3 shows instead of having to use them for every show.
How can people, besides buying tickets, how else can they support or be involved in Mankato Playhouse?
Yeah, we're constantly looking for people, for volunteers. As we are putting together our new board of directors, we're also going to be putting together committees. Now our board of directors are going to be kind of head the committees, each committee, and each committee is going to be like advertising committee, marketing committee, campaigning. Like, we're going to have certain committees that are there. We are always looking for volunteers who want to be part of that committee to help us do the work. Because we could come up with ideas all day long about how to be successful, but if it's only one person doing the work, very little is going to get accomplished. So we're constantly looking for people who want to come be part of Mankato Playhouse to help us continue to grow. When it comes to ushering, we are pretty set on ushering. We have our Broadway teens come and usher every single performance to keep them involved, and then let them, they come, they watch the show, they usher, and then they watch the show. And I mean, the only thing that needs to be done is when you come into the theater, you give us your name and we take you to the table. So that's pretty much the ushering. So ushering is fine. Building sets, of course, building sets, striking the set, cleaning the theater, those type of things could be very tiresome as well. If you're doing it just with a couple people, the more the merrier. So every performance before we open, like we paint the stage, we build the set, we clean the costume room. And so those type of things, if people want to volunteer to help out at the theater, we just reach out to us. You can find us on Facebook or MankatoPlayhouse.com. There's a contact us button. Just reach out to us and ask us if there's anything you need. Also, I mean, we are looking for costume pieces. So if anyone has like old period pieces, dresses are in theater are golden. And so if there's anything that you're getting rid of that you want to donate, that you're planning on donating, bring it down to the theater. We'll take it off your hands and we'll see what we can use. And if there's things that we can't use, then we'll go ahead and take it down to Goodwill and finish up the donation process for you. And then also for financially, like we are nonprofit, we're a 501c3, so all donations are 100% tax deductible. So donations are greatly appreciated, as well as sponsorships. If you have a business, you want to see your name posted all over our posters around town. Business sponsorships are huge. Advertising in our programs, those type of things really help us out and help us keep afloat.
All right, well, Sue, what do you think? You got any questions for us now? We're getting closer to the end.
I don't really have questions, but I have some comments.
Great.
First of all, David, I love your energy, and I think I'm happy that this is a success and that you're going to continue to be in Mankato, because I love theater and I'm looking forward to seeing the shows that you have been talking about. One thing about sets, you know, a lot of shows go to the minimal set. You were talking about the one with just the bench. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of old school. I love to see great sets, very detailed. I used to work a lot on sets at the college, and all the different techniques you can use for painting to make it look old or dusty or whatever, and you know, books on the shelves. And I enjoy that part of it. And I guess that's about it. It sounds like a great list you've got coming up. I'm looking forward to seeing the shows that you're going to be bringing to Mankato.
Well, thanks. Yeah, about the sets, I'm 100% on board with you. And I love big sets as well and detailed sets. One of the cool things with our space is we do have the cool brick wall in the back that we've utilized a couple times. We have a 40 by 20 foot, and we have this big air conditioning unit that's right smack dab in the middle of the set, so we can't go too high.
Oh.
So my hope is that, well, I mean, if you come see a couple shows, you'll realize I'm actually thinking of ways that we could actually extend out the stage to make levels. And those, I actually have some big visions for Adam's Family, and also the last 5 years. And a funny thing happened on Wood of the Forum. Scrooge is pretty much just going to be flats on the back. It's going to be set like an old school, old town feel. But Adam's Family, like I would like to build off to the side, like platforms that go up, that we could have different scenes and keep those same platforms up there for the last 5 years too. So it's like we're in an apartment, but there's also, you just step up and you're on a balcony.
Right.
Overlooking, and so do like different things. But I love detailed sets as well. So I am totally on seeing your vision there. Now, if you would like to help out, since you used to be in sets, I would be more than happy to have you come in and you can kind of share some look at that and maybe come up with some visions.
I probably will be volunteering sometime when things get a little bit, when the future gets a little bit more set as far as, you know, being healthy to be out there.
Yeah, so that brings up another point. So the last thing I kind of wanted to touch on is that what we are doing to keep our audience safe. We understand that everything that's happening right now, and there are people that will accept more risk than others, and we completely understand that. So what we are doing is for those who come see the show, we want them to make sure that they are they're feeling incredibly safe. So a couple of things that we're doing is the first thing we did move away from seats, and we're going to table seating versus selecting your seat or picking seats. The other thing we're doing is we have complete ticketless check-in. So you come in, you tell us the name on your reservation. We have someone seat you to your table. Your meal tickets are already on your table, so there is no exchanging for tickets. Nothing is exchanged. We also have hand sanitizing stations set up, and we'll more than likely, if we could find enough of them, have hand sanitizer pumps on every single table. So those are things that we are looking to do. We are not making masks required, but if people want to wear a mask, we're totally okay with that. And I mean, once we get closer and we realize that what we need to do, we are going to make all the adjustments that we need to make sure that those who come see a show and come back into the theater feel very safe. Tables are spread apart enough that you could have your family, your party, and you don't have to worry about anybody else being right next to you. And just we're kind of making sure safety is our #1 priority.
Good.
All right. Well, I see Mary has joined us now. Mary, we're well into the.
I apologize. I was working outdoors and looked at my watch and I realized I was late.
Okay. Well, I don't know how much David. Maybe Mary, if you want to ask a question, David can touch on some of the things he's already gone through.
He can. That would be fine. I don't have a question right now. Actually, he was answering it when I came on. So,
have you been to any of the Mankato Playhouse shows, Mary?
Yes. To Jesus Christ Superstar. We came to just the play. We did not come to eat. But I have had friends that have eaten there and said it was very good.
Yeah, we have our catering is through Absolute Catering, Absolute Custom Catering, who owns like Tab on the Ave, Number 4, Dino's Pizzeria. And so if you had any food at any of those restaurants, that's the food you're getting at Mankato Playhouse. And it is table service. It's not buffet style. So it is plated. So we get the order beforehand so we can get it to the caterer. They bring it in. They serve it at your table so you don't have to get up. And I mean, everyone raves about the beef tenderloin. It's so tender, you could cut it with a butter knife. It is that tender, and it's so good. Like I haven't had anything, and I've had every single meal being there all the time. I have the privilege of tasting everything, and if I had to choose, I wouldn't know which meal to choose. I would probably order all of them. And since Jesus Christ Superstar, we have added salmon to the menu. So we actually have 4 dinner options. We have salmon, beef tenderloin, chicken. It's chicken Gouda this time. For this last show, it was chicken marsala. And then we always offer a vegetarian gluten-free option. We did a stuffed mushroom for Jesus Christ Superstar. And then we switched it up last time to a stuffed bell pepper. And again, it's vegetarian, gluten-free, so we always make sure we have something for everybody.
Okay.
Did you talk about prices at all, David?
Yeah, so prices we kind of have, because we had to adjust it, prices, all seats are $50. So we just kind of set a standard price. If we are able to move to a different setting, then we're hoping that it'll be a table price and then the food price on top of it. So you'll actually be able to see different prices with the food. So the salmon might be a little bit more than the chicken. But because we don't really have that luxury right now, it's just all tickets are set at $50 per seat, no matter what you order. But all meals do include your salad, your bread, and it includes your dessert. So dessert is included with the meal. And I know going up to Chanhassen, the dessert was not included. So we made sure that dessert is included in your price.
So do you have seats for just the play?
We do, yeah. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be opening up, once we close out dinner sales, which we have to close out 24 hours before every performance so we can get it over to Absolute Catering. So then they can make sure that they have everything prepared. Then once we close out, then we'll open up any table that's not available. We will open up at a 50% discount. So it's just meals not included. So you can come in, you purchase. We do have tables for 2, we have tables for 4, we have tables for 6, and we have a couple tables for 3. So if those tables are available, you could just purchase those tables by calling the box office. It's not going to be available online, and it'll be first come, first serve.
And you can't get those before 24 hours before the.
Correct. Hopefully, once we get our new ticketing system and things open back up, then that will be an option. But we kind of had to rush to kind of get tickets, and so we're actually looking at a couple different ticketing venues that could do what we need it to do. But because we're opening July 31st, we kind of have to get it up. So we're just kind of rolling with what we have and kind of rigging the system, the ticketing system, to kind of accommodate that people could still pick their tables, which is something that we've wanted, or our guests have wanted, is they want the ability to be able to pick their seat. Well, now you're going to have the ability to pick their seat. But we had to set the price at a standard price. We couldn't fluctuate the prices with the ticketing system that we currently have. And we do have some tables that are discounted, depends on where they are. So if there's kind of like a sightline issue, we've gone around, we're like, okay, well, this table is not going to be worth the same amount as someone sitting dead center. So we're going to go ahead and make this a discount table. So there are discount tables available.
And I guess I wasn't here. What is your first play? What is the play in July?
Yeah, we are opening Forever Plaid.
Okay.
So that was supposed to be our last show of the season, but we had to postpone it. So we're opening it up July 31st, which is it's a pre-season show. So it's in between our closing season and our next season. So we threw that in because we had nothing scheduled for the summer. So, and everybody wanted to see Forever Plaid. So we're like, you know what? All right, let's do it. So we're moving forward. July 31st, we open up tickets. We open up Forever Plaid. Tickets go on sale on Monday.
Okay.
And I think one of the things, you didn't point it out directly, David, but I think one of the things, Mankato does have a fair amount of musical theater productions. The challenge is that because they're based in academia, they're on a very similar schedule. And the high schools then tend to plop their shows down right on weekends when the colleges have their shows as well. So being able to fill those gaps, I think, is really an integral part of Mankato Playhouse success.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are doing our best to partner with every single theater company out there. That way we're not running shows at the same time as them. So we're working with Merely Players to make sure that we're not going to conflict with any of their shows. We're working with even State Street Theater. I mean, it's out in New Ulm. We don't get very many people come from New Ulm to Mankato or Mankato go to New Ulm. So it's very few audience members that cross paths. But we are Curtain Call Theater up in New Prague, like we're partnering with them. Fairmont Opera House, we got a huge partnership with Fairmont Opera House. In fact, I directed their summer show last year, and Wizard of Oz, and had an amazing experience. And they allow us to borrow any of their costumes. So for any show, we go down and we just raid their costume shop, and they're totally okay with that. And so we're trying to establish partnerships with, we're not trying to be a competition for anybody. We're just trying to fill the gap from things that what Mankato doesn't have. And so we're trying to fill that hole.
Okay.
You're muted.
You're muted.
I just got the message. Yeah, Mary, I will have this online probably quite shortly if you want to
Okay.
come on back and catch the first part of it, because David did go in great detail about the entire season. So
Okay.
there'll be more information about that there.
So do you know when, like, when and if Merely Players is starting? Are they starting early or?
I don't think so. I talked to them the other day, and they're kind of at the mercy because they do their stages in a school, and so they have to wait till the school is opened before they could even think about doing anything.
Okay. Okay.
And I think what you're finding is that most theaters are either dark, as they say, or they are finding other ways to do things like radio plays. Or I saw one of the alums from MSU, this was actually 2 or 3 months ago, he did a Zoom play where he had characters, they had the same virtual background to make them look as though they were in the same location, and they just went and said their lines. And of course, it was in the speaker view, so they popped up on the screen each time they spoke. And then he was able to edit that down and share that. So it's one of those things that people are becoming even more creative because they have to continue to fill what they do to survive this.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did a community cabaret for the Community Response Fund. We did it for Mankato Area Foundation and Mankato United Way. They partnered together to do a COVID-19 Community Response Fund. And so we offered to do a benefit show that 100% of the proceeds went to them. So we didn't take any proceeds on that. So it was a lot of work. I've never been so tired after a performance. It was a 2.5-hour show. And what we did is we reached out to actors that have been part of Mankato Playhouse before, or actors that I've worked with in the past, and asked them to send us a song, any song of their choice. And so we put on a benefit show. And then we had a couple live interviews. Senator Frentz, we had him on. We had Barb Cross, and Nancy Zellick. And so we had a couple live, but I mean, it was interesting, like that live streaming is incredibly hard to do. And I mean, we couldn't sit there, we can't hold auditions, like we can't, if 4 of us are on there, we're not going to be able to sing a song and it sound good because you have different internet connections, you have people freezing. And so we had to have everybody send us a video, upload the video, and then play the video. And so, yeah, there's a lot of people out there that are doing some really neat stuff. My buddy and I, we actually did a song from the benefit show. I'm here in Minnesota. He's out in Los Angeles, California. And so we recorded a duet, and then he kind of tied everything together, had both of us on there. And so I'm like, all right, where are you going to be positioned in this video? Are you going to be on the left side or the right side? And so anytime I was looking at him or we looked at each other, I'd have to look one way and then he looked the other way. And it was neat. I mean, I can't do that. I'm glad he knows how to do that stuff, because I just sent him the song and like, there you go, do what you want with it.
And of course, you had your hats.
Yes, I did have multiple hats that I wore. Changed outfits.
Which kind of represents your role with Mankato Playhouse. You wear many hats.
It sure does.
All right. Well, thank you. With that, unless Sue or Mary, if you have any other questions, we can kind of wrap things up here. It's coming up on 55 minutes or so.
No, I appreciate your time, David. It was interesting.
Fine. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
And I will make sure and check out what was on before.
All right. Well, thank you all very much. We appreciate your coming. And David, I'll see you later tonight.